Bit of a chest workout. Well, it's going to be a push workout tonight. More of a bodybuilding style session. I'm not planning to go super high reps, but I'm going to throw in some things like some drop sets. Nothing heavy tonight. My main focus, I just fancy hitting a bit more kind of upper chest. So I'm going to start out a bit of moderate weight incline press. I'm going to throw some chains on in a minute. Work up to something, like I said, nothing crazy, but I'm kind of focusing on form. Nice full range of motion, relatively slow negative, and like to throw in some drop set intensity techniques and things like that. Just warming up at the moment though. Okay, I've put another plate on, thrown on a chain as well. These chains, is it 8 kilos or 10 kilos, something like that, I can't even remember. Accommodating resistance, it unloads at the bottom, reloads a little bit at the top, a bit more weight at the top. But as I said, today is not about weight. My bodybuilding sessions aren't ever about weight. It's about reps, or alternatively it might be, controlling the negative a bit more, intensity techniques, things like that. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. That felt way heavier than it should have. Oh well. I'm going to get 3 plates on there in a second. Can already feel a really nice pump. As I said, today it's just controlling the weight. The reason I do this, you guys who follow me regularly know I follow 3 movement patterns: push, hinge, squat. So for my push movements, or for all of my movements, I break them into 3 separate workouts. I have my heavy day, where I focus on working up to a heavy set of 5, heavy triple, heavy double, or a heavy single. I'll have my bodybuilding day, where it's normally a bit higher volume, or I work on like the tempo of the rep pauses, drop sets, intensity techniques. And then I have my support day, where it's exercises that I find support my main movements, in this instance the bench press. So, but like I said, today is just about relatively slow, controlled tempo, and you can just feel the muscle fibers breaking down and twitching. And generally speaking, I say to anyone, a bigger muscle tends to be a stronger muscle. But also I find these bodybuilding sessions are really good when it comes to just giving the joints a little bit of a break. Because I train reasonably heavy most of the time, or quite a lot, and I've been doing it a very long time, 30 odd years. Your body gets beat up. So cycling this type of training, you're able to get 3 good workouts in, but they're just good in different ways. So it helps avoid those kind of overuse injuries. If you come in day out, week in, week out, doing the same exercises in the same form with very heavy weights or whatever, it does catch up on you. When you're younger, you maybe won't feel it, but as you get older, when you've been lifting a few years, it does start to catch up. So I do find that this helps. Okay, this is around my top weight. for today. As I said, for me, this isn't a super heavy weight. On a good day, I can normally hit 220-ish. My PB is 240, but you know, in terms of when I'm feeling reasonably strong, I can normally hit in the region of 220. Certainly at least 200 most workouts. So this isn't a particularly heavy weight for me. This would be, I suppose, with the chains, it'll be about towards 160. But again, I'm just trying to concentrate on the form, relatively slow, negative. Let's see how it goes. All right. Change my mind. I can feel I can do that. I'm going to add a couple more chains and make it a little bit more challenging. I picked that up, and you have to be instinctive. I know if I did that for a few reps, I'm shortchanging myself. So I'm going to add a little bit more. These things happen. You don't always get it right. That's why I'm just leaving the camera rolling. I want something that is going to be pretty hard to move, and then I'll do a few reps with it. It's going to be pretty hard to move. I'll do a few reps with it, and then I'll strip off a chain, get a few more reps with it. And then I'll be it. So, all being well, I'm going to try and get 5 with the 3 chains, 5 with the 2 chains, and then 5 with the 1 chain. All in relatively good form, so that way I'm getting a combination of hitting a decent amount of weight, because by now with that on, it'll be towards 180-ish, 170, 180 at lockout, something decent enough. Again, in quite slow controlled form, but the drops I'll be doing will be very small, just taking 1 chain off. It won't feel like I've taken much weight off. If I struggle to get the 5 reps, what I'll probably do is rest, pause, and just rack it, catch a couple of breaths, go again until I get my 5. And you know, I don't know how heavy it's going to feel. It's been a long day at work, so I'm probably not firing on all cylinders. But you know, we're here, we're trying. We give thanks for having a bit of strength left. That was really heavy. Come on in, Amber.
Hi.
Hello.
Hey, Pat.
That's right. Camera's on. Come and say hello to the camera. Come down here, very cool.
Hi.
Your dad's in the middle of something. But you're okay.
Yeah, I know. I was about to fall.
Oh, okay. You okay?
Yeah.
You have a good day?
Okay. Finally moved seats.
Hmm?
Finally moved seats.
dad life. Most important thing, you kids. Whew. It's a slow drop set, you'll have to excuse me. That's pretty heavy. Yeah. All right, last set of 5. Oh. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty tough. That was good, that was good, that was good. Now that's a pump and a half. All right, on to the next exercise. I'm actually going to hit a bit more upper chest with guillotine press. So give me a few minutes, I'm just going to go and set up again. Okay, on to the next exercise, guillotine press. I just did one warm-up set, just with a plate and a chain. So I've just put 2 plates and a chain on there now. Now, guillotine press is an absolutely phenomenal exercise for the upper chest. However, it comes with a warning. And this is really down to your own personal mobility and whatever. It is not something you go heavy on, and heavy is relative. You guys know, of those of you who are regular watchers, regular viewers, lifetime best 302 kilos. My most recent best, I've worked back up to 270. That was a couple of weeks ago. So I'm not by any means a bad bench presser. The most I ever do on this is about 140. A lot of the time, my working weight will be anywhere between 80 to 120 kilos. Phenomenal exercise, but it's not something that you do weight, it's a stretch movement. So, even though the bench is set flat, you lie down, you flare your elbows out, so you have your hands wider than shoulder width apart, and it's called guillotine, because it's like it's going to chop off your head, and you basically take the bar down with your elbows flared to your upper chest, your sort of platform area. It's a very old school exercise. Vince Gironda, a very knowledgeable bodybuilder from the golden era back in the day, was an absolute advocate of these. And I remember reading an article about him when I was a kid, growing up in gyms, and some of the exercises he did, and he always talked about the Guillotine Press, and it really stuck with me. Those of you who follow bodybuilding in more recent times, Kai Green, he doesn't compete anymore, but he was very big. He was Phil Heath's #1 rival. He was a massive advocate of them as well. And if it's good enough for those guys, it's good enough for me. So as I said, it is very much a stretchy, slow, controlled movements. I'm going to do just a quick set with this, get that feel, and then I'm going to throw in a couple of chains and see where we go from there. So my hands, as you can see, are pretty wide, considerably wider than shoulders. I unrack, and then I take it down towards my throat. Hold the stretch. And you will not believe the stretch you get in your upper chest. I'm not sure if you can see where I'm taking it, but the bar is touching my chin at the moment. I've got my chin tucked into my chest, and I don't explode out of the bottom. I basically squeeze out the bottom. But the stretch all across here is absolutely incredible. You probably can't see, but my chest is just absolutely lit up. I actually feel these, believe it or not, more than I do on an incline bench. I'm going to throw on another chain. I don't really tend to do drop sets with these. With drop sets, you're kind of pushing yourself beyond failure. This is not an exercise I would recommend that you go beyond failure, because it does put your shoulder joints and your pecs in a very precarious position. With your elbows flared, it does open you up potentially to shoulder injury if you're not careful. And obviously with your elbows flared here, that kind of tie in between the pec and the shoulder, again, you're putting your pec under a tremendous amount of stretch. So you really do have to be careful. This exercise, as I said to you, is not for everyone. Even though I'm pretty big and I've had a lot of injuries, I've torn a rotary cuff, I tore my pec, I've worked incredibly hard on my mobility. I'm 133 kilos at the moment, but I'm still reasonably mobile for a bigger person. So these cause me no discomfort. I just feel a really lovely stretch. So what I would say to you is, if you're able to do them, they're a wonderful exercise. Start really light. If you're a 100 kilo bencher, do not be afraid to use like 10 kilos aside. Like literally a 10 plate aside, 40 kilos in total. Don't be afraid to do that. This is not an ego exercise. It's just getting a really nice pump. So as I said, I don't tend to do drop sets on this, because your form can break down when you're going and doing drop sets, and you don't want your form to break down on this, because it is potentially quite a precarious exercise. All right. really hard. Oh. My left arm was failing then for some reason. Is the bar unbalanced? What is it? I have no idea. But again, like I said, just check your ego at the door. This is no weight for me, particularly. On a guillotine, it's relatively heavy, but as I said, the most I ever put on there is 3 plates. And you guys have seen over the last few videos, you know, I've been working back up to 6 plates plus on a normal bench. So strength is relative, as I said. We're all at different points in our lifting journey or whatever. I'm reasonably advanced, move a bit of weight, but again, it's just do what's heavy or relatively challenging for you. You know, don't worry about other people. If you get a really good pump doing 60 kilos on a bodybuilding day, cool, do 60 kilos. Nothing wrong with that. Eventually that'll turn into 70 kilos. Eventually that'll turn into 80 kilos. Just take your time. Part of the reason I made so many mistakes when I was younger is I was dictated by ego, just chasing everyone else, trying to impress everyone else when I was a kid. I was young and I wouldn't change it because it made me into the kind of trainer I am today. I learned literally from my mistakes, and that's why I like to think I'm a reasonably good personal trainer, and I'm hopefully reasonably good at explaining things to you guys, because I've made every mistake there is to make. I said before, I was the original ego lifter. There are very few exercises I haven't tried, and there are very few mistakes I haven't made, and there are very few injuries I haven't sustained. So, anyway, I'm gonna get one more set with this. Like there, I'm legitimately more or less reaching failure. Something's going on with this left arm at the moment, and it's just dying, it's getting tired, whatever. But yeah, that's it, that's all I'm doing for that. 3 sets of that. Some of my bodybuilding sessions, the ones I tend to do at my local gym, tend to be slightly higher volume. I've got just access to machines and things, so it's a lot quicker and easier to set up. But at home, as I said, I tend to concentrate more so on form, slowing things down, stretching things out, throwing in the odd drop set here and there. But anyway, I'm going to finish up there, go on to my last exercise. Okay, last exercise with this kind of upper chest focus workout. I call them windscreen wipers. I don't know what they're actually called. It's basically like quite an extreme incline fly. Now, I would love to take credit for this, but I can't. There's a phenomenal bodybuilding coach called Charles Glass. Now, those of you, there's a few old school guys on my channel, Happy Olympia, I'm talking to you, and a few others. Who will know who I'm on about when I talk about Charles Glass. Charles Glass he's called Trainer of Champions, and he used to train a lot of the top Olympia competitors. He was a phenomenal bodybuilding competitor himself in his day, back in the kind of 1970s and early 1980s. But he's a genius when it comes to just messing around with angles and things. Now this is a very, very challenging form of incline fly that again just really hits you across the upper chest and the whole kind of clavicle area. Again, it's another one where you check your ego at the door. Those of you who have seen me do heavy flies before on my channel, I've got some YouTube shorts of me doing like flies with the 50 kilo dumbbells, relatively comfortably. I can do a conventional incline fly with 60 kilo dumbbells, to put it in context. Today, I'm starting out literally using 15 kilo dumbbells. The heaviest I've ever done is 30 kilos, and that felt like a nightmare. It just didn't feel right. But my day-to-day working weight tends to be anywhere from about 12 kilos up to about 20 kilos. But at the moment, I'm having a happy medium. My chest is pretty tired, so I'm just doing the 15s at the moment. So, rather than sitting in the seat, you actually elevate yourself up the seat. And the idea is you just kind of push your sternum up a little bit. Those of you who follow Mike O'Hearn as well, he does these quite a lot, but he'll be the first to tell you he got them from Charles' class as well. I didn't used to follow Mike O'Hearn. I followed him for a few years now, but the first person I saw do these was Charles' class back in the sort of early 2000s. I think it was on one of the Battle for the Olympia videos, and it just looked phenomenal. I tried it, I loved it. Okay, so if you see, I'm elevated right at the top. My chest is pushed high, so it raises my sternum up a little higher, and then I stretch out. So rather than having my hands like that, I have them like this, and you'll feel a phenomenal stretch in your upper chest, and then you bring them over your eyes. Stretch out, over your eyes. Stretch out. And again, no ego, but you get a phenomenal stretch. Now, the tension profile, the tension probably stops about there. So anytime you're doing a fly, I'm bringing them all the way up, but in reality, the tension stops about there. So I could make it even more challenging by just going to around there. Right, I'm just going to swap these dumbbells over. 15s are okay, so I'm going to grab the 17s. Excuse me. Now this workout has actually been broken into two parts. Part one actually took place this morning with my conditioning. So I apologise for that. I didn't feel like filming when I was training at 4:30 this morning. So I did some shoulders, a superset with the assault bike this morning. I did a bit of shoulder press, nothing heavy. I don't feel super strong at 4 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning. I did some incline side raises and I did some rear delts. So I did 5 sets of shoulder press, 5 sets of incline side raises, and 5 sets of rear delt flies. And I also did a bit of neck training because I train neck quite a lot, about 3 times a week. Alright, number 2. In fact, I just need to move the bench forward a tiny bit. So again, elevated pretty high up, pushes my sternum up. Quite a slow controlled descent, slow negative, hold that stretch. That was a nice leg. That felt pretty good. Ooh. Give myself about a minute or so. This has been a relatively slow workout for me, as I'm talking to the camera. I wasn't sure if I wanted to film a video tonight or not, but I thought, oh well. Might as well. As usual, I've got a client in a handful of minutes, so I've got to be pretty quick. That's why I have to break today's workout into two. I had a meeting after school at work, came home, sat down for about 15 minutes, changed my clothes, came straight in the gym, get a quick 45 minutes in, and then train a client for another 45 minutes. Oh well. If you want stuff, you have to work. If you want to look after the family, you have to work. Oh. And that's us done. Right, give me a moment and I'll do a quick outro. Okay, workout done. I just realised it's quite dark in here. I haven't got the overhead lights on. Never mind. Yeah, so that was my upper chest focused workout. Upper chest is great aesthetically, to be honest with you. You know, if you want that kind of armour plated chest, that superhero look, if you want to go around looking like Batman or Superman or the Hulk or whatever it is, Colossus, now that's an aesthetic guy. Then really focus on the upper chest. You're as strong as your weakest link. And the upper chest, I've never seen anyone with a upper chest that is overdeveloped. We all have seen people with very developed lower chests, but very few of us have got overdeveloped upper chests. So, you know, there's a few things in there, maybe worth giving a try. Anyway, on that note, I've got to go because I'm about to personal train in about 3 minutes. So if you are tuning into the channel for the first time, hope you enjoyed what you saw. If you like seeing a pretty big guy talk a load of rubbish and lift some reasonable weights, then I might be your new favourite channel. So I'd really appreciate if you could subscribe. It'll make this middle-aged man feel very happy and validated. It'll give me purpose to life. Anyway, you guys take care, have a good week, train hard, and I'll speak to you soon.